Take two, Ivano.
Take two. Here we go. Okay, I call the meeting to order for a special board meeting of the Downtown Oshawa BIA. Welcome, everyone. We have quorum, and I'm moving to item number 3, the acceptance of the agenda. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that?
I'll move.
Michael and Isaac, thank you very much. Glenn, thank you very much. Any discussion on the agenda? Any additions, omissions, deletions? Hearing none, I got to go around the table officially to accept it. Isaac?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Who else is on there?
So you, Andrea,
Andrea?
Yes.
Jeanette,
Jeanette?
Yes.
Cindy.
Oh, Cindy?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Great, carried, thank you.
I have 8 people listed. What do you do?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm
Oh,
8.
no, you said you have Glenn here. Who are you
Yeah,
missing?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Did you
6.
have
Cindy. 7, 8. Great, thank you, folks. Any declarations of conflicts? Hearing none. Item number 5, decision of City Council. Okay, so technically we haven't received the letter from City Council yet, identifying the conclusion of the council meeting, the specific wording. But from what we understand and what people have watched around the discussion, what's taken place, they did vote to dissolve the BIA. The vote went 6-2 in favor of dissolving the BIA. And so we're left with a situation where we need to likely consider some next steps around orderly dissolution or dissolving the BIA, if that's what we want to do, but we have to decide that here. So I'm going to put that in front of the group to figure out what is it we want to do as next steps. There are some choices here. One could be we can continue to seek legal advice and determine what next steps are to push the agenda more, or we could seek some advice on how to close out the BIA and dissolve it by year end or within a time period that fits the city agenda, or likely sit down with the city. I guess a third option would be sit down with the city to seek their direction on how they want this thing to proceed. So those are the kinds of, there's sort of 3 things in my mind that's in front of us. And I guess it's fight, flight, or consult.
Or act contrite.
Contrite, yeah. I guess you could do one of those. So those are kind of the 3 things. So those are options in front of us. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that they want to talk about. I'll hand over the baton and see who wants to opine on what's next.
I believe this is Matt. We just need to check.
I wouldn't mind before hearing from the rest of the board if hearing from Sue or Kyle if they have any inside advice or opinions based on what they're hearing from the city as how the city expects this transition is going to take place. I think that could be valuable in informing our next steps.
I'll just jump in. I hope everybody can hear me. We've not gotten any sort of direction. I think that's going to happen early this week in terms of kind of sort of a path forward in terms of, kind of the wind down or whatever. But at this point, I don't think we've got really anything more that we can offer than kind of what happened last, Thursday at that sort of council. So wish we could tell you guys a bit more, but I don't think there's anything to say at this point until we actually regroup as a city hall staff.
Kyle, the normal course is to get a letter from city clerks to our office. I've kind of directed them to send everything to me as the chair because I don't want too many side conversations happening in terms of official notices, but we have yet to receive anything yet.
And that's not a surprise. I think, this morning I just received sort of the council direction update from last week, which is, a fairly standard little piece that they put. So that may be coming to you guys fairly soon. But in terms of formal communications from clerks, I suspect they're working on something at this point. We haven't seen a draft.
Okay. Michael, does that help?
That does, yeah, and I'm happy to pitch in my 2 cents as always. But I think that the best course going forward would be to prepare. I mean, as my understanding is as of the end of December, we're no longer board members. We're no longer a board. The BIA is no longer an organization. So I would say sometime before that happens, we would have a list of items prepared and sent to the city, perhaps to the city clerk, to say, here's our outstanding obligations. Here's what we would propose as our plan for winding down. There's a pretty good list that Ivano's got for things that we probably need to take care of. Put that all together and put it to the city clerk and just leave it with them for their direction, and give a reasonable cutoff date to hear back so that we are not scrambling on December 25th to do something, but that we can, it's a pretty short turnaround time between now and the end of December. But my idea or my understanding is that we're no longer board member. We don't have any authority to make any decisions after December. And ultimately, because we know the organization is going down, we don't really have any authority to make any decisions that is going to bind in any way city council or the BIA past December 25th or past December 31st, sorry. So that would be my proposal, is that we get a communication out to the city clerk outlining a plan for a reasonable, what we think we need to do to dissolve, and what our obligations and outstanding commitments are, and leave it to them for them to direct what they would like. And then after December 31st, that's kind of the end, right?
Thanks, Michael. Anybody else? Okay, not hearing anything more. I mean, that would be kind of the consult version of what we want to do, is seek advice from City Hall or from city staff. I could send something either the clerk or Paul or both, as that kind of option. Maybe I presented 2 other options: the fight or flight. The fight option would be seek some legal advice around the dissolution of the organization, which would require this board to either resign first and hand it over to city council officially, or city council will have to exercise its rights with a 2/3, help me with this, Michael, is it 2/3 of membership vote?
No, I think the city council's repealed our bylaws, so the organization is no longer, we're no longer an organization. So I don't think we need to dissolve or do any of those steps. The Municipal Act, originally when I was looking through it, says, yeah, you've either got to have a resolution of the board to dissolve, or you have to have a vote of 2/3 of membership, but the city council has the authority and the ability to dissolve a board, and that's what they've done in essence with their motions, as far as I can understand it.
Well,
we don't need to do anything like that officially. I think it would be double counting in my mind to dissolve the board before they dissolve our board.
Right. So, well, here was, I was thinking a little bit of this one on the fight side would be, we're still an incorporated organization. We can continue on. We have no revenues. We have no means of collecting revenues right now. But in as much that they want to have some sort of, and I'm not advocating this, this would be the fight version of the option, right? I'm just presenting options, right? The fight version of the option was continue the organization as a board. It's owned by the membership. It has no governance under the Municipal Act, but if members want to contribute to run the downtown and be better, I don't know if that's a good term or not, we can continue on. They own assets. It's the assets that belong to the organization. that would be the kind of the fight scenario, would be continue to drag this out. And then the flight scenario would be basically we basically resign as a board under the vote of non-confidence by city council and just hand it over kit and caboodle without doing anything right over to whoever picks it up at city council. Just sort of send a note going, the board has resigned en masse and there's no direction, and off you go. Here you go. Here's the keys, and figure it out. So that's kind of the three, I think those are the three scenarios in front of us. Again, I'm not favoring any of these in particular, the fight or the flight one anyways. I don't know that I've thought through those two, but that's kind of what's in front of us.
Personally, I wouldn't be opposed to the flight. That would be my, I had already proposed resigning myself, not that I been counseling other people to, and say, here you go, it's your problem.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. My job is to make sure we consider all the options. It's our responsibility of the organization, which includes the membership. And, you know, so that these are, I think, the only options in front of us right now. So I appreciate that, Glenn. I mean, that's an option in front of us, right? To say basically,
Well, I'm going to be putting in my resignation regardless of what
Yeah.
everybody else does. So
okay.
they don't, you know, they don't want us, that's their problem.
Yeah, under the vote of non-confidence, I think that's kind of the scenario. They didn't really consult with us to say, hey, we want to hear what you have to say.
Right.
They basically went, we don't care what you say. Here's
Right.
what we're doing.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'll chirp in. It's Cindy, and I think we've taken the high road and we've tried to do everything above board. We've tried to do everything right. I think in an ideal world, we would do what we can to wrap up and then pass it on. But I think the level of disrespect, the level of lack of acknowledgement of all the work that we've done and what we've tried to do has really burnt all of us out. And I really don't think we owe anybody anything at this point. And I'm okay kind of with walking away. I don't think we're leaving them with a dog's breakfast. I think things are fairly aligned. And if they, you know, it's kind of like, if we were leaving them with a huge disaster they had to clean up, I would say otherwise, but I think we're pretty tidy, and I say you dissolved us, and so we respect that decision and we walk away and you guys can carry on with the remainder. So that's kind of where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
That's 2 for flight.
Well, we're not voting yet. I just
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm more of an options guy.
No,
I put all the options on the table. And we'll do it as a group.
understand what you're saying. I understand.
Sure. Peter, go ahead.
Oh, I've been watching from a distance, obviously, but I tend to agree with the last 2 interventions. And obviously, it was very disappointing to watch all this unfold. And but you know, I think you have to ask yourself, maybe, do you really want to put in, you know, another 20 hours this month or whatever, facilitating something that you don't really approve of in the first place? And I don't think you're under any obligation to do so, unless maybe Michael, I don't think Michael feels differently about that. Do you, Michael, that the board isn't under some obligation? I don't know about the question about the former ED, who there's some legal files there, I think, that are still ongoing. I don't know how that impacts all this, but generally speaking, my intuition, looking at it from a distance again, is you've been told, basically, despite great efforts and great leadership on Evanil's part, you've been told that you know, the city's not going to support you, and then so why should you really help facilitate that transition? I would just, so I'd go for the flight option myself at this stage.
Thanks, Peter.
And maybe I'll chime in now, maybe as well too, if I may. And yeah, I look at this as a vote of non-confidence for our board, as far as I'm concerned. And you know, again, I equally share in the disappointment that I think the rest of you, or I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but I think I'm hearing it. That yeah, there's a general lack of respect for a lot of the work that we put in and what we've done to try to help further the cause for downtown Oshawa. And so I would tend to lean more towards the flight side of things as well too.
Thanks.
I would,
Go ahead.
sorry, this is Jeanette, and I do agree with the rest of the comments so far. I do, it's, to say it's disappointing is an understatement for me. I feel like we had a strong board. We did a lot of things. We had so much planned, and all for the benefits of the members. And the general disrespect that we've received so far is, I feel like we don't deserve that. And at this point, if they say, you know, if we're kicking us out of the curb, then we don't need to be. We don't need to be we don't need to be treated this way. So I say, let's flight. I'm voting for flight.
Thanks.
Oh,
thanks.
we're not voting yet.
Not yet, but thank you for that. Yeah, you know, and again, I don't disagree with how people are feeling and what they're saying from the standpoint that they didn't consult with us or ask us our opinions or even ask us to defend the things that were said. We kind of had to force our way in there. And I want to thank everybody that sent in the letters or did the calls or made the delegations. You know, we did it on behalf of the membership, not necessarily on behalf of us personally, but at the end of the day, you know, to your point, Jeanette, no one's called to say, hey, look, we're sorry, this is the way it's going. You know, here's what we want to do. Yes, it happened Thursday. I would have thought a call on Friday or an email or something. And here we are on Monday. But yeah, I'd say I'm a little disappointed at nobody reaching out to go, hey, you know, I've had people call me on Saturdays, on Sundays, you know, so even on the weekend, nobody's reached out, not even someone to say, hey, hold your horses, hang in there. We'll get back to you. So I'm not surprised. Andrea?
Yeah, my sentiments are exactly the same. I've conceded already, honestly. The only option would be for us to walk away. They've already made a decision, so we should respect that.
Okay. So, you know,
Matt's on.
oh, Matt, sorry, Matt. Welcome, Matt. Sorry about that. I know you got in there. Do you want to?
Yeah, no problem. Sorry for the background noise. I'm on the road this morning, but my 5 cents for what it's worth is obviously the decision's been made. It's very disappointing in the decision, but at the same time, to hold our heads high and I think on the professional side is just give them a one-pager synopsis where we are. All of the items that are still outstanding, as well as stuff that they have to have on their radar, which is obviously the website, social media, and pass that on, and then we walk away. So I think sort of the hybrid approach, because we've got to leave on a professional note, but also the decision's been made, so we need to walk away.
Okay. So here's the question is, we should send that note to the mayor, council, clerk, and CAO, or just the clerk, or?
I think as many people as you tie in, the better. But I also think, you know, on the professional level, we've got to leave them. So if they decide down the road they want to reinstitute the BIA, that is there, rather than, you know, sort of, yeah, they gave us a little jab and didn't consult us, but we should all hold our heads high as a board and still practice on the level that we have throughout our tenureship, and end it off with, you know what, here's the baton, here's a list of everything that we think you should have on your radar, and here is, you know, the website, social media, logins and passwords, and then just pass it over.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Matt. Well, I'm going to go to Kyle or Sue because it's likely to land in one of your laps in terms of once this board walks away. A lot of reference has been made to the business development office carrying forward the role of a BIA function. What are your thoughts on that?
So I just kind of wanted to jump on kind of sort of Matt's comments. We're kind of in wind-up transition mode now. And well, even before we get into that, you guys, I'm actually so sorry it's gone down this way, quite frankly. You know, we've always been big supporters of the BIA, and sort of the work that you guys have done. And so, you know, between Sue and I think we've made great strides over the last year. And unfortunately, we've hit this bump and this crap happens. So that's kind of my first sentiment. And you guys did a great job in terms of at least trying to, you know, make your case. And you got hamstrung by that whole sort of ballot thing, which was a bit of a red herring in my mind. And this is being recorded, but I don't particularly care at this point. So if you guys could help us out a little bit in terms of, you know, to Matt's point, just kind of here are the outstanding pieces, that would be very beneficial. But, you know, I hear the sentiment about, okay, you know, they don't want us, we don't want them, just walk away, which I perfectly understand. And I wouldn't blame you at all, quite frankly. But, you know, I think we need a little bit of a transition and some continuity here. And so to the extent that you can kind of just give us a sense of, you know, here are the assets, here are the liabilities, here are kind of some of the outstanding piece, then, you know, ultimately, you know, as staff, whether it's economic development or who else in the city, we're gonna have to pick up those pieces, and that would just be appreciated. But if you didn't want, well, I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the things tying off of that is, you know, the disrespect and everything, I think primarily came from what we're feeling anyways, is came from city council, and not going to be any city councilors that are doing any of the work pushing this forward under their direction. I understand that, but at the end of the day, from a human element, it's, you know, it's by walking away, we're not going to be fussing any city councilors really. It's not them that we're going to be hurting by doing that. So yeah, my original position is not make everything as easy and as smooth and do whatever city council wants us to do. It's we need to give a transition, but I don't think we're, as board members, have much left really to do. It's just as was stated. So that's what I think. I don't really want to. And to Cindy's point, there's not that much to do because we don't have a messy organization. If things are all in place, we're not going to be scrambling to find this information. So
we on some of the follow-up activities, I mean, we had finance and audit this morning. We closed November statements. It's in good shape. We did a forecast for December's expenses. We're going to land in good shape. So we're forecasted. We're closed to the end of November. We're forecasted to end of year in good shape. There are a couple of outstanding things that are hanging out there in terms of commercial terms, like the lease. We have to give notice. Like the obligations to pick up those lights, we either pay or lose it. So there's no other financials. Peter talked about the one floating item, which is under motion, but I don't think that's a huge risk to us, given that that's a matter that's being resolved by the coverage we have. Yeah, the only one is you know, Angela's here, but it's an employee matter, which I'm sure the city will figure that out in terms of what has to be happening there. And quite frankly, she's the only conduit left, basically, of knowing all the moving parts and pieces. I've gone over everything with Angela to put the list together. So outside of that, that's kind of the update financially. Now, we have a couple of signing authorities at the bank and things like that I think we have to close out. So we'd have to at least be available to do that. I don't think anybody's withholding that. But once we cease to become board members, the signing authorities basically dissolve.
Right.
So we've got to close those things off and transition that out. Because that's the bank statement and the credit card and anything else, Angela? I think those are the only signing authorities we have, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So how do we go ahead? Once we've all sent in our resignations, or however we're going to do that. So here's my question. The process is we're going to, all the board members are going to resign. Once we do that, then the rest of this is moot. Angela's here. I mean, we're going to pay Angela to the end of the month. She can take the torch, do whatever has to be done from there, right?
Yeah, well, so it's that obligation to close out the company, right? So if it's actually dissolving the company and closing out, we've got to file statements with the CRA and statements to delist the organization, which are all steps for signing authority. But if you dissolve the board, there is no signing authority left, right? We have to serve notice to everybody that holds the directors accountable, the officers, right? So we'd have to actually do that at the same time.
Shouldn't that be the responsibility of the city now that
Not
technically
really.
there's no board anymore?
No, not really. It's the signing authorities and officers of the company, right, which are us. So essentially, we've got to send everything out to everybody that says we're no longer responsible, and then it's up to the city to close that gap, which is kind of a messy gap.
So Ivano, it's could I just weigh in for a second, Sue?
Sorry, Sue, I forgot to ask you. I asked Kyle, but I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You and I had a quick conversation just before the meeting this morning. Yeah, it just might be an option also. I think it goes back to Matt's comment. It might be an option. We talked about really reaching out to the city clerks this morning just to find out about you'd require direction. And so maybe then that fills in that gap, is that they sent through a list of the direction, and just to close anything off so you're not leaving Angela with loose ends. And I think that's the only thing. Just you've wrapped up a lot in the last few months. You've worked really hard, so maybe it's just that list of sort of what has to happen to close it. And I'll just weigh in like Kyle, is that, as you know, I'm very unimpressed with it, and you guys have worked really, really hard. I'll say that when I first started in 2017, I was like, wow. And this board has grown and worked really hard. And, all of you guys, Michael is great governance. Yvonne did an amazing job as chair. Cindy, you've worked so hard, all of you. Isaac, I apologize because I interviewed you and put your name forward, so please don't be mad at me. And Glenn, you've been the institutional knowledge. You've stayed and always had some great history on what to do. So all of you have worked really, really hard. And so I'm sorry it's happened.
Oh, thanks, Sue.
So first time I've ever been fired from a job where I didn't get paid.
Doesn't it?
And you feel
That's
hurt.
pretty bad.
And you feel hurt. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling for, I'm thinking, let me think out loud a little bit and share this with you. I mean, I think it's a couple of things. One, it sounds like we're heading towards the flight scenario, which is officially everyone tenders their resignation. So we need a letter of resignation to the chair from each member as of a certain date. And I'm thinking maybe Friday or something like that before everybody disappears. Before then, I think to Sue's point, maybe I should give the city the heads up to say the board is going to resign. So we're expecting that. And then once I get those letters of resignation, then I send the letter to city council or whatever, tendering the resignation of the board. But I kind of feel like, technically we're officers of the board. I just want to make sure we close that out. Maybe we should call Leon and just make sure they go, hey, what do we have to send where as a board, as officers, to make sure that our names are off everything? Right? Because my name's on other corporations, and so is everyone else. Everybody's got a business. Right. So I just want to make sure that, when you sign on to be directors of other organizations or start your own companies or open up a new company under a different number, I mean, it's one of those things around, making sure you got clean, because they ask you, have you ever been, an organization that's been sued or bankrupted or whatever, those kinds of things. I don't think we want to risk any of that here.
So you're suggesting we all tender resignation letters and make it as of this Friday coming, and that gives us the week to do
a bunch of things. One, let's let the city know, give them the heads up. I'll phone Paul maybe and go, hey, this is where the board's going. In the meantime, we have a list of things that we can hand off. And again, I think Angela's not, I'm coming back to Angela going, you're here to January 1.
Right.
They have until then to really button her down and say, hey, we want you to stay, go, whatever we want to do. So that puts it in Paul's hands or Kyle's or whoever was going to take that on. I'll talk to Paul, then he can give the direction on that side. Yeah. It gives us 3 or 4 days to put all the documents that we have to send in to close out this organization by the directors and officers to do that. And we close off as of December. I don't know if you would do one more meeting then, just virtually or whatever, to basically go, it's done.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know why we're even worried about communicating with the city. They're not communicating with us, and the ball's in their court.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not communicating with us, telling us anything.
No, you're right.
So why are we going to communicate with them?
Yeah, I haven't received.
I mean, if they want to initiate communication, yeah, we're going to cooperate, but they don't have any interest in talking to us. Nobody has.
If you're talking about like the one pager to send them, our agenda's pretty sufficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we have listed there office lease, removal of storage, capital assets, you know. That's pretty exhaustive already. Just send it to them.
And if the city needs Angela, they can offer a 2-month contract or whatever and pay her out of their pockets.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure, we can get a list going. We can send that communication. I guess I'm throwing that out there just for process.
I think we just tender our resignations as of Friday and let them do what they want. Why are we going to ask them for direction and blah, blah, blah? They don't want to communicate with us. They've made that clear.
Okay. What do we tell our members? Do we say anything to them?
I guess we could send a 1-paragraph message that city council has made the decision to disband the BIA. We're disappointed, and the BIA will be ending as of December 31st. Any questions or comments you have, go to the city.
Well, technically we resign as of December 18th.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, it's now being handed over to the city by then.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
So it's technically not dissolved, it's handed over, I guess, is the process. Michael, am I correct in that?
I have no idea. That's why I think, it's still an open line with the clerk, and initiating the communication is better than waiting. Because we want to be done on Friday. We probably should send out some messaging to say, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we have. If you need anything from us, you better get it in soon, because after Friday, it's on you guys. And I think that's what we need to do to best understand the process, because I'm not an expert in municipal law and procedure. I don't think this is all that common of an occurrence. So leave it with the people who know how it's going to go, and do what we need to do. And feel free to say no if they demand things we don't want to do, but at least we know what the process is going to be.
Okay. Anybody else have any opinions on this one? It's important. I want to hear from everybody to go, there's membership.
I think that was a very fair comment.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I think it was a very fair comment from Michael, and maybe it's just a quick email, Ivana, back to you from Paul saying, okay, what's the process from here out? And just push it back on us to tell you what that process is. And, if the board's going to resign, it's going to resign. But, I think you guys deserve to hear from us that say, okay, here's kind of our expectations. Whether you want to meet them or not, it's kind of a completely different matter. But you're right. I mean, it's, we've thrown you into this sort of this deep end of the pool, and well, now we've got to give you guys some direction in terms of, okay, well, what's next on this? So I think that's just kind of a fair comment.
Yeah, truth is too, like, given that, the plan is to resign by Friday, that's not going to give them lots of time to respond back to us anyway. So my expectation is we probably won't get anything too concrete, and maybe we will, but I don't know how much forethought has really gone into what's next. So I'm not really expecting to get, a big laundry list of requests or anything like that personally, but maybe we'll be surprised.
Yeah, I think we will get a long laundry list because they'll just say, well, give us everything in the kitchen sink again. And that way they're kind of covered to say, well, we asked for it, we just didn't get it. So it's not my fault that we don't have this information for them. And I think that's maybe the game that will be played. But again, I mean, we initiate the communication. We say, well, we don't have enough time for that. Sorry. that's it. You know, I don't. We still have obligations, duties, and responsibilities as board members until such time as we're no longer board members. And yeah, just resigning without notice is it's hard for me to say. I'm not entirely sure, but seems like that kind of opens up a crack for some additional liability. But we don't really. There's nothing we're past. Like I said, we've said before. It's not. We don't have that much of a mess to clean up, so there's not really that much to give over. We hand over our list and say, whatever else you guys need, you better get into us quickly because we're not doing anything after Friday. And then kind of leave it at that. But I think, yeah, it would be important to get in touch with our lawyer that incorporated us under the not-for-profits to determine how we dissolve that corporation. Because the city is not going to carry that forward, or at least get some advice on, is that possible? What do we need to do? How do we get our names off of it? You know, all of that information would be good to have before we do anything further.
I'll get in touch with Leon on that point. I made that note already, Michael, just to make sure that before Friday we have a clear understanding of what that looks like.
So if the city has shut down the BIA and hasn't communicated with us, is it our responsibility to now reach out and initiate communication with them?
It would be our responsibility to make sure that we are serving our members in the best way possible until such time as we no longer have obligations as directors. So we are still directors. We still have a duty to run the organization in the interests of our membership. The city is going to be carrying on some aspects of the BIA in some regard. Whether we like the city or not, we don't dislike our membership, most of them. So we want to make sure that the transition is smooth, at the very least, so that the city can get the best foot forward to continue to serve the members. And the way that it's going to look like.
If the city wants a smooth transition, they would be communicating with us.
I agree. No, like I said, there's no love lost with the city. It's the members that I'm concerned about, because the membership.
Well, we can let the membership know, but if the city wants a smooth transition, shouldn't the city be communicating with us and saying, this is the decision that we made and this is what we want you to do?
100%.
It's a rhetorical question. My feeling is the city doesn't care about any kind of a smooth transition. If they did, they would be communicating with us. They would at least be letting us know what the decision is. They haven't done that. So I don't know how they would expect any kind of a smooth transition if they're not going to communicate.
I would agree with you. I mean, it's on them. I don't know that they didn't think through it, but if it were me in their shoes, I'd certainly as hell want us to stick around to help them out, figuring this out. But nobody's really done anything. No council's reached out. No clerk has reached out.
No city manager.
No city manager. I will tell you, there've been two requests. One to Angela for the employee file, which is a little disingenuous. I understand why they did that. And one to me from a staffer that was concerned about, one of the liability items we hold. And I had said the board's meeting on Monday, we'll get back to you on that. And then I sent a note to the city clerk and the city manager to say, from now on, send all the communications to me, because I can't have them send independent pieces out.
Right.
Or again, not to put Sue and Kyle on the spot or to use them as the conduit in here.
No.
Because they haven't asked them to represent them, although they do to some extent. So, quite frankly, it's been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So, I would have thought this would have been something big for them, but maybe not. Maybe it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. They don't care. They haven't reached out. They haven't communicated. I don't know why it's our responsibility to communicate with them to ask them what their decision is.
Yeah, but to Michael's point, I think the one thing is we do represent the members. I don't want to leave them on the lurch either. So
right, but that's a legal issue that we can resolve through our lawyer, right? That's got nothing to do with the city.
Yeah, I'll talk.
That's two totally separate issues, in my opinion.
Yep.
There's the legal, and then there's the city. The city doesn't want to communicate with us, or they would be. So why are we going to initiate communication with them?
Okay.
They're going to get what they have asked for. No communication and dissolve the board. That's all they care about. The legal issue, I think we should do something about it.
Okay. I'll follow up with the legal side. Any other opinions around the table?
Just a
there's
question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just to weigh in for a second on that, I think to go back to the initial discussion, I think that you do need the direction, and this happened very quickly. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I know you're upset that you haven't received communication, but let's just say you do receive communication from the city clerks today. I'm sure they're working on it. Then I think it is really important you're going to resign. That's obvious of this because there's a lost confidence. I know you're going to, but I think what's really important, and I was about to say, so Michael, thank you for touching on that, is that remember why you did this, why you joined the board. It wasn't to be part of the city. You joined to help them to serve the members, and you've done an amazing job with that. And when you think about how upset you are and how confused you are, think about all your members. And I've received calls over the weekend. I know you've received calls, and you want to give them peace of mind. So if that means that there's a list of what's outstanding, so there is a smooth transition. You're upset with the city, you're upset with the councillors. So take out that emotion and remember why you came onto the board. And so this will give peace of mind to the members, that smooth transition. So that's all I have to say about that. And I respect anything you do, but I think just getting some list to wrap up and close it professionally is important. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Isaac?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a question as a matter of process. So if we were all to tender a resignation as a board, and remind me in terms of process to basically accept those resignations, do we need to do so through a board meeting, or is it good enough for you as a chair to just simply accept those resignations?
I think I would accept them. That's why if we all did it on a Friday. So I was thinking at one point, there's two ways I've seen it happen. One, they declare it at a board meeting in terms of a resolution that's passed, a motion to dissolve the directorship. And that's kind of done en masse as a board. It'd be a unanimous kind of approach that way. That's option one. Option two is everybody sends their individual resignation letter to me, and then I resign the board as a letter to the city. It's either way can happen. So that's why I was thinking if we did it as a meeting, even though you send your individual, I can just confirm it as a board resolution with the follow-up individual resignations that we send in. That's why I was kind of thinking, do we do it online with a phone call on the day of, and we've got it as a resolution, and we've got everybody's individual resignation. So it's kind of 6 1/2 dozen of the other. It can happen either way, but I figure if we did it both ways, it doesn't take effect until the documents all line up. So it would be, if we did it Friday, it would be as of Friday noon or Friday after the meeting. Does that help, Isaac?
Yeah, no, I just thought that'd be good to clarify.
Yeah, you could do it either way, but I figure if we did it both, it takes effect and we've got it covered. That's a good idea. Any other comments around the table? Okay, I've got two follow-up actions. One is to follow up with Leon on closing out our liabilities in terms of officers, since we are incorporated as a not-for-profit, and to get that rolling. I'm going to be spending money, likely, or he's going to either give free advice, but I'm assuming we don't want free advice. We want to get that going right now. So I need a motion to do that. I'm happy if somebody else wants to do it, but I'm thinking, unless somebody else wants to do it, I'll take it on, but.
All right, so I move that we get legal advice as to an orderly and legal means of resigning our directorships. Is that?
I think it's closing out, dissolving the liability of the board, ensuring that we, in dissolving the BIA or the organization, to eliminate the liability of the board as directors and officers. So the organization will continue, but the directors and officers will not. So to strip them out of all the signing obligations, whatever's required there,
Of the corporation.
of the corporation, right? So the corp still goes,
Right.
it's just the officers are gone.
Right.
Is that the motion? I guess that's the motion.
Well, I don't know what Angela's got there.
Get legal advice as to an orderly, and then I've missed the middle, liability of the board of the directors and officers of the corporation.
Orderly removal of the officers, or what did you say on that second one?
Orderly removal, and then blank, liability of the board of the directors and officers of the corporation.
To eliminate the liability, removal of the board to eliminate the liability
The board,
as signing officers of the corporation.
board, or directors and officers of the corporation as signing authorities.
You want to read that again? Sorry.
Okay. Motion is to get legal advice as to an orderly removal to eliminate the liability of the board of directors and officers of the corporation as signing authorities.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. That's to the orderly removal of what though? Orderly removal.
I think we're looking for the orderly dissolution of the not-for-profit corporation.
Well, I don't know that we
No.
can dissolve that.
Why? The city can't carry it on.
Well, they would if they assumed the role. Right? They would
That
assume.
would be, yeah, that'd be something I think we should probably get instructions from the city on, but I expect that the city would want that corporation to be dissolved. You can't just take out all the officers and directors of a corporation and have the corporation continue to exist. The corporations have to have officers and directors.
No, but it's just we're missing stuff. Get legal advice as to an orderly removal to eliminate, but we got to say what we're removing, right? An orderly removal of the board of directors.
We'll either have to dissolve the corporation, so we're ending the not-for-profit corporation that we incorporated. We're terminating it, so we would file articles of termination or whatever they're called.
Dissolution, yeah.
Actually, that's-
Or we would have the city carry it on, and then we'd have to have someone new to be appointed as whoever the officers and directors are.
Well, that's actually a good point. We created this incorporation, so we can dissolve it. So
That's true.
I'll ask him of that one. So maybe we can dissolve the organization. But the trouble is, when we do that,
The city doesn't want it. The city can't apply for grants or anything like that. They
Yeah.
can't carry the corporation on. I don't see why
okay.
that would be an issue. Really.
Okay, well, I think you're right, but I think when we do that, when we actually dissolve the corp, we've got to file all the paperwork, including taxes and everything else that go with it. He'll likely tell us that, but that'll be his advice. We'll seek that advice.
Yeah, we might want to seek the direction of the clerks first to make sure the city's aware of what we're doing with that and gives us the sign on as well. I think that would be the best, easiest way to go about it, but
We incorporated
We did.
without the city.
And it wasn't, one counselor seemed to think that we were doing it in a nefarious way. And I know it doesn't matter how many times we explain it. I don't think again, it's a convenient argument to kind of go, well, we didn't like that, but now here we are arguing about dissolving it. I guess we created, we might as well dissolve it.
Yeah, well, like we didn't need the city's permission to create it. So
No.
why would we need their decision to dissolve it?
Yeah, that was our point last time, but
So I think our motion should be to get legal advice as to the dissolving of the corporation and the removing of the directors
officers.
and the dissolving of the corporation.
and I will ask him to time it in line with Friday and make sure that all our obligations are met.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the motion would be to get legal advice or to direct our legal counsel to dissolve the corporation.
Yeah,
Is he the one that incorporated it?
he is.
Yeah. So we so the motion would be to direct our legal counsel to dissolve the corporation and
Remove the
uh,
directors and officers.
and to carry out an orderly removal of directors and officers of the corporation.
Yep.
Like, who are the directors and officers? It's not the board, because the
Yeah.
board didn't. It is?
So, and then there's 3 of us that have signing authority. That has to be stripped eventually too.
Wouldn't I have had to sign something to be an officer of a corporation?
You're listed. No, you're just listed as an officer, as a director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get legal, we're gonna instruct our legal counsel to proceed with dissolving the corporation and,
Do you want me to read what I wrote now?
Huh?
Do you want me to read the motion so far?
okay,
To direct legal counsel to dissolve the corporation and carry out an orderly removal of the officers and directors.
well, I guess that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move that.
Does everyone?
second.
Okay, thanks, Jeanette. Let's have discussion. Does everyone know what we're doing here? I mean, we had a bit of a side, I don't want to say sidebar. It's been there for everyone, but maybe others can chime in. Okay.
Take a vote.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. It's been seconded. We're gonna go around the table for all in favor. Isaac,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Peter?
Yes, I'm very sorry. I've got to run to another meeting.
Thanks, Peter.
All the best to everybody. I hope we see you soon.
Take care.
You.
Andrea,
Yes.
Jeanette,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
carried. Okay, I'll take that on. I'll keep you posted on where we go.
And so then the next thing is everyone should get their letters in by tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah, do we want to have a draft? Does somebody want to draft the language of it or no? I don't know. Does somebody want to be consistent? Does everyone want to do their own individual one?
Well, I think it's an individual decision, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm gonna.
It should be an individual.
Okay. Okay.
So by Wednesday?
Uh,
Today's Monday.
sure. I'm good. But have it dated Friday,
As of Friday.
as of Friday.
Dated for today or the day you write it.
Yeah.
I
Effective.
think I think you could date the letter the day that you send it, but the resignation is effective Friday.
Friday, December 18th, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
Email will suffice.
Email's fine, yeah. Yep. Okay, that's the second item. Anything else? Do we want to make decisions on any of these things? I guess if we're handing it off, we're handing it off, right? Is there anything, so I guess the third thing is the banks. So Glenn, Cindy, and myself are signing authorities on the bank items. Checks are going out today.
Yeah. So we'll need to talk to city, right? Because the last paycheck is the 2nd of January.
Well, why can't we move it up?
Well, no, but it's for payroll covering the 2nd of January, but
Up
what's
to
the
the
date?
2nd.
Yeah, what's
Yeah,
the
that's
date?
the date on it.
Is that payroll? Is that when payroll
Yeah.
runs?
Yeah.
Trouble
And
is,
so
you have a
there's
hard
two.
time cashing that one. If we take our names off the list as of Friday,
Exactly.
you're gonna have, anybody who's cashing it afterwards.
Yeah, so we need to talk to either the bank or the staff.
When does the visa statement come in for December?
I'm expecting it any day.
No, for December.
Yeah, I know.
No, no, well, he means for January then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we're
it's
gonna get
December.
a visa bill in
Yeah.
January.
Well, you've spent money in December. You're gonna get the statement as of the end of November, a couple weeks in December.
Yeah.
Does that cover everything or you got nothing else after that? Because you've already got that listing. We went through that with finance and audit. She's already
Yeah.
covered everything that's gonna,
Oh, so
That's
there
gonna
is
show
so,
any new
yeah,
charges.
so I haven't put anything else on.
but our normal subscriptions,
yeah.
our monthly subscriptions happen, but that's
Yes,
something they can
that's true.
decide. But your credit card has got our signing authority on it, right? So once we do the bank closure,
Well, but actually it has mine, right?
yeah,
It
but
just
you
has
can't sign
mine.
it. You need to,
No, it's the check to pay it, right?
right?
Because we pay it by check.
Okay.
So that's something that we'll have to ask clerks if in their request is like, what about?
When do you get the statement for the check to pay it?
I'm expecting it any day.
Like before Friday?
I'm hoping it comes in before Friday.
So,
If it comes in before Friday, then we're good. But again, like payroll, even for this one, it's on Saturday.
no, but you know, is this all that you're gonna see on it, or is there any more on it? You know what you spent.
I can pull up and see if
No,
there's
well, no,
anything
but,
else.
well.
Well, I do know that there's a couple more, but I don't know whether they're going
Okay.
to be on the statement.
Well, you'll know what it is, so we can
Yeah.
write the check as of Friday and just
Yeah.
hand it over. Like we can
Yeah.
write and transfer that and,
Yeah,
and
because
have
I
it
can do
done.
another sheet like this.
Yeah.
Where all the transactions are on.
And then Mohammed's got he's got everything already, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're there. It's just whatever checks are here, we have to make sure they clear out before the end of the week. So let everybody know. They're all dated today, right?
They're all dated for Friday, I think. I'm just running through. The only one that I would be concerned would be Deloitte because it has to go through the mail.
Well, I'm not a fan
Well,
of theirs at this
But
point.
why
there's a
can't we
couple.
resign from the board and go in the week following? And
We could.
I mean, that's,
The week following is Christmas week. That's what I'm saying.
or
Yeah,
go in
there's-
2 weeks later.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
there's
don't think
three
there's
of them.
anything
Okay.
illegal about that. Or,
No, it's not illegal. I'm just saying it's just it's this exposure. Like you cannot sign any more checks after that.
Well, these are all
right,
signed
but if we've
before.
signed them ahead of time,
Yes.
just don't go in and take our name off it. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
But
And-
there's 3 or 4 in there that have to be mailed.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I
then,
mean,
yeah, your name, my name, Cindy, your name's on it too. So is that okay with you?
So I can draft a
sounds
letter
good.
that can be taken in.
Okay.
yeah, so we'll sign all checks on Friday. Anything that's still outstanding, we'll sign them on Friday.
And
And
then
then
have
we'll
a-
wait until,
Well, we'll have a letter
Even
that
the
we'll remove it. We don't have to, or do we have to go to the bank?
Now I can just drop the letter off to the bank.
So can you draft something for me,
Yeah.
Cindy and Glenn to sign off?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Great, that's taken care of. Anything else? Have I missed anything, guys? So I'm going to ask city clerks. Am I doing anything with the city clerk? Sorry, am I outside of sending them the letter once we resign?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that if they initiate communication or ask us to do something, we should probably do it
Okay,
up until Friday. After that, they'll have to just deal with Angela.
yeah, I'll send them the note in our resignation package. I'll send them a note
Right.
saying Angela's still here as an employee of the organization until January 1, at which time she has to be closed out somehow or given
Yeah.
direction. Is that fair with you?
The city can hire her
I-
if they want.
I've asked Angela to give some thought as to what she wants to do because there are choices she has in this thing, and we have obligations as an employer as well, or the city does at that stage in terms of taking over. So, much like we had 3 choices, I think she's got 3. Stay,
I think
leave,
you-
transition,
You might be able to get a job with the city.
possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's up to them to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great.
Now, so as far as legal responsibilities to Angela, have we worked out that out?
Well, we may want to talk about that in camera.
Yeah, we have 2 items in camera on personnel matters.
Oh, okay.
So, but before we need to do that. Do you have the numbers that or who have you given it to?
I haven't given it to you.
Okay.
Um,
Do you have it on a piece of paper or something or no?
I should be able to pull it up here for you. I told you how many I still have.
Okay.
So we have to go in camera first.
Yep.
Yeah, and that, you and I discussed, that was taken care of. That's the holiday time.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, if that's the only item, then we're good. So I will follow up with Leon. I will get you some sort of communication as to what that status looks like, clean or unclean, or what the steps are. You will get me a letter by Wednesday outlining resignation on Friday. I'll figure out whether we have to do a special board meeting gathering again to, invoke that or whatever. I'll draft a letter to city council or the clerk's office for the resignation, communication with membership. Sorry. What do we want to tell our members? What do we want to do?
Well, we'll have to sit down, or Angela or you or whoever, draft a letter to our members. Just basically that we've enjoyed serving you. We're disappointed the city has disbanded us. And if you have any concerns or questions or comments, here's the list of counselors to phone.
Okay. Sure.
But you don't think they should have that?
Well, they have that. I'm sure they have. They have a way to get a hold of them, but that's putting an exclamation mark on it for sure.
So I believe Taylor drafted something and it went to Cindy and Isaac.
Okay.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, I asked her to draft something last week.
Oh,
So
okay.
she had something drafted. I know that Cindy responded, so it's just a matter of when you guys want us to send it out.
So is that a letter or is that on the website or
It's
is that
gonna be an email.
It's an email to everybody?
Yeah.
Cindy or Isaac, you want to comment on that?
Sorry, I will say that I didn't respond after Cindy made some edits, but I was fine with the edits that were made afterwards.
Cindy?
Yeah, I do apologize. A call just came through, so I missed part of that conversation. But in regards to the response that I drafted, I think it might need to be tweaked in light of some of the information from today. But it was just kind of short, sweet, to the point. You know, Taylor did a great job drafting it. It's hard not to be emotional because obviously we've all invested a lot into it. But yeah, just giving a little more direction. And as far as the dates go, they might need to be added. But other than that, I think we're good to go.
Do we want to talk about us resigning as a board?
I think if we were to, depending on the timing of the communication, I think that's going to be critical, whether or not we include that personally.
So when were we planning to send this out? Or-
I was hoping this one could go out today.
Oh, really?
Okay, why don't we send that out today, and then we can, if we need to send another communication about the board resigning.
Yeah, we can do that later.
Yeah, that's what I think makes sense personally.
Okay. I've had 2 calls from media about Thursday's vote. So what do we want to do with media?
What do you think, Ivano? You're our fearless leader.
Well, I think we should.
Why don't we refer the media to City Hall? Like, no comments, refer them to City Hall. That's where the decision was made.
Well, then they get to put the narrative out there.
Right. No, we don't want that. No, we should put out, we should respond to the press. Very carefully worded.
Well, I think I was always going to respect whatever council decided. I mean, city
Right.
council, we are creatures of city council. They voted, they went through their own process. It wasn't close. 6-2 was
Right.
clear.
Clear cut.
Yeah. So, you
But
know,
do we put in like, so Oshawa is now one of the very few cities that does not have a BIA. It's unfortunate, but this is the count. This is, I would like to see something like that. And I'm just going to use the bathroom.
yeah, okay. I mean, I could do that. I mean, it is a bit of a, I think it is a bit of a shot back. It still shows that we're emotional about it. I don't know that this is the time to go, we're disappointed or anything like that, but I think, it's something we respect and that's the way it goes. I still don't understand why they did it. They tried to do it with, it's mismanaged, it's lost control, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I still don't see that, but they haven't said that officially as the reason. They were just hinting at all these things coming down the pipe as they developed the smoking gun to try and claim there's a murder that happened. I don't know that anybody wants to go on record as saying that's why they disbanded or dissolved the BIA. Rick's on record suing Kyle for saying the city can do it for no cost. Cars on
Yeah,
King
good
can
luck
happen
with
as
that.
the city- Cars on King can happen because the city gets involved anyway, so it's a piece of cake to pull it off. I don't think he said piece of cake. It's just something that gets incorporated into the city.
which is why I think we say nothing. Like going back to what everyone alluded to earlier, we just take the high road. We don't need to comment. We don't need to defend ourselves. We haven't done anything incorrectly. We haven't done, like, there's nothing for us to defend or for us to get on the defense, for us to control the narrative that's put out there. Let them think what they want to think. The ball is in the city's court. Let them explain to the media, let them explain to the media why they did what they did. And that's it. Like, we don't have to defend anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's Matt here. I think the more narrative will come 6, 9 months, 12 months down the road when we see how the city is stick handled and picked up for where we left off. I think that's when there's a chance to tell a better story at that time frame.
Yeah, I mean,
Should we say I haven't received any notification from the city? Can I claim ignorance? I'm surprised. I don't know. I've never heard anything.
yeah, that wouldn't make anyone believe we have a mismanaged board.
I just thought I'd throw that. I mean, technically it's true, but
I think I get the idea that, you know, it's taking the high road is a good idea. I just feel like we have to respond. If the media reached out to us, I feel like we have to respond to that, because at this point, there's a narrative that's going out there that this board is squandering the money that the membership is giving. And so I think if at least that, you know, it's something that we have to respond to, because we've always been quiet. We've always been, you know, doing what we can for the membership, and we're not giving out. People are, I feel like a lot of been convinced because we're mostly quiet about what we do. So I think it's important to respond to the media. It doesn't have to be, you know, defending ourselves. It's just a statement.
Yeah, I would hit on a few key points. I'd say, you know, the board has always acted in consultation and with the best interests of the membership in mind. We've always been driven with a fierce determination to improve our downtown core, to bring people to the downtown core, and to breathe life into the downtown core. And our membership, from what we've heard, supported us, and we're disappointed and upset with this decision, as many of our members are as well. And that, you know, for the financial management piece, we've always operated with audited financial statements, and we've, including for 2019, and we've never received any information from the audit, and we've never not passed our audit or something to that effect to hit the financial piece of it as well. We just stick to something simple like that. But I would agree. I'd say, no, we're not agreeing with silence is consent for a lot of different things, right? Like if you don't say anything, it's people will assume you agree. So I would say that, yeah, we're disappointed because we've been tireless advocates for the downtown businesses and the downtown business community for X amount of years. We've been doing everything. We had an exciting plan that the membership endorsed to really revamp and do a lot more. That got sidetracked because of COVID, and now unfortunately we're here, and we definitely don't agree that the board has been mismanaged or that the finances have been mismanaged in any way, and that's supported by our audited financial statements or something to that effect. I don't know. What do you think, Ivano?
Yeah, no, I agree, but I had to go to the little boys' room, so I missed a little bit of the discussion, but I think we should put in there, this is what the BI has done over the last few years. The BIA puts up and down the banners every season. The BIA provides the winter greenery. The BIA has run Cars on King. The BIA has run the Butter Tart Festival. These are the things that we have been doing and have accomplished over the last few years. So in a subtle way, we're saying that those things aren't going to happen anymore. So this is what we have accomplished over the past several years. It has been a great boon for the downtown. People have commented often about the flowers, the greenery, and the wreaths and how pretty it looks, how nice it looks. These are the things that the BIA has done over the last few years. We're disappointed that City Council has seen fit to remove the BIA. Unfortunately, these things will no longer take place. So basically, just stating what we have done so that it's on in public. These are the things that we have done, and this is the things that City Council has voted to do away with. Not in a sarcastic term, but this is the facts. This is what we've done, and City Council has put a stop to it.
Yeah, something that says, you know, that indicates what our intent is, what our intent was when as a board, and how we acted on that intent. And just to clarify that, you know, whatever narratives out there that people are putting out in regards to the board being mismanaged or all over place or whatever, is dispelled. And I also think it's important, because I know there's a couple of incidents where our membership had to reach out to us to say, why are you not responding to this? Like, we have to respond somehow.
Absolutely. Also, it should make clear that the board members are unpaid and volunteers. That should be in there as well. Hardworking board members who sat on committees and attended board meetings, all unpaid and volunteer.
Anybody else?
I'm having a hard time hearing you guys on your end. I don't know if you're.
Okay. We
Get
had
better.
we had some opinions, Isaac, on the content about responding. So the flavor seems to be do the media interview, focus on our accomplishments and our achievements, and that there's a disappointment that it's going this direction, but it's going this way. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I just missed Glenn's last point, so I don't know. Not sure if he's just sitting far from the computer or not.
No, I'm not. Basically, just to make it clear the things that the BI did on behalf of the downtown on a continual basis, like the wreaths, the banners, the greenery in the winter, all that stuff. That these are things the BIA has been doing for years, and the Cars on King, which everybody in Oshawa just loves, the Bikes on Bond, the Butter Tart Festival, those are all things the BIA has been doing for years to enliven and beautify our downtown, and with much success.
Yeah. And I would kind of share the sentiment, which I've heard from most, which is I do believe it's important to say something. As I've heard it indicated, we have been, our members have suggested that we've been silent when we should have spoken up. So if we're doing a good job on behalf of our members, perhaps it would be important to say something. I think the main thing I care about is that we do it in a manner that's professional as much as possible, which I think we would. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all on the same page. We just want to state what the BIA has done, that the board members are volunteers, and that we had, how many dozens of volunteers?
Yeah.
And so we were able to accomplish a lot with small amounts of money. We could even put in there that just the fact is we were one of the smallest funded or least funded BIAs in all of Ontario, and yet what we accomplished with that.
Throws it at zero increase in the last 2 years, including approved budget for 2021.
Yeah.
At
At
half of what it was in inflationary times,
right,
from 1974. So yeah,
so that should be put in there. I think.
We could spin it any way we want, but okay. Anybody else have comments? Anybody want to do this interview? These interviews?
Cindy. Is Cindy?
Oh, heck no. Thank you. I think
draft the letter though. Or the
I could draft something for sure, but I don't wish to speak to anybody, but I can definitely draft something.
well, I mean, Ivano doesn't mind doing it. He's the one that's been or the press is called anyway, so. But yeah, if you can draft the press release,
Yeah, and I don't mind doing that, and then I'll circulate it with you guys. When did you want that done by?
say noon.
Noon
Next couple-
tomorrow?
We can approve it on Friday.
Okay. Not a problem.
But yeah, no, do the draft and send it to everybody.
Yep, no problem. I'm on it.
Okay.
So ironically enough, we received the city council motion, and they directed the board of management to work with city staff to fulfill the obligations until the end of, on or before December 31st.
You just got that now, Ivano?
I just got it now, yeah.
Okay.
And who is it from?
City clerk. Angela just showed me that. Well, on or before December 31st, well, that's fine. We can give them a, I don't think it still changes what we want to do.
No,
but
doesn't change anything.
no, they just give me the motions that were, they haven't reached out. It just gives us the motions of what they wanted to do. Okay. So Cindy, I thought I heard you say that you'll draft something by Wednesday. Is that good?
Yeah, Wednesday's perfect. Thank you.
And she'll,
Yeah, because I don't think we can do an interview after Friday.
no, well, so she can do it Wednesday, send it to everybody, and
Yeah.
everyone can make their comments or
Yeah.
add or whatever.
And I'll let them know we'll have something to say on Thursday.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Thursday or Friday, whatever.
Yeah. Anybody else want to comment? Okay. Hearing none. Just a couple items around the table. The Finance Audit Committee met. We've passed two things I need to get approved on this board before we go in camera. One is the Finance and Audit Report for November 30th. Just to go over it, nothing material has changed. A couple of line items that we discussed were there's some membership expenses that went in as a check and shows in a November statement. It'll be reversed in December because we're not going through. That's the ODBIA, the provincial one for 2021. We wrote the check. We didn't send it. We've just voided it today. So that'll get reversed out in December. The other is the streetscape expense, $750. That's the wreaths that went up. Thank you to everybody who came out to do some of that work. We really appreciate it. It looks great downtown. Christmas is downtown, which is nice to see. Even though our planters are not done, I think the fact that the wreaths are up are a good thing and makes us feel better that way. So outside of those two items, there's been no revenue booked in November. We've reached all the revenue we have for the year. So that's pretty much done. There is one risk item on revenue. We have this $10,000 grant, which we have to likely give back because we're not going to spend it. There's money in the bank for that, so that's not a big deal. Outside of that, that's the November statement. We ended the month at 267 is the expense with 41,000 in surplus carrying over into December. And it's pretty much floating as we expect at 93% of the January to December budget. So pretty much landing right on the button, likely, with the checks that we have for December already cut. So that's the November statement. If I can get a mover and a seconder for that.
I move.
Seconder.
I'll second that. It's Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy. Around the table, Isaac,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Peter's not here, sorry. Andrea,
Yes.
Jeanette,
Yes.
Glenn,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Matt,
I don't see a microphone. He might not have
okay.
access right now.
Yes.
Oh, great, thanks, Michael. Sorry, Matt, carried. The second item is, what am I missing here? sorry, I'm scrambling for my agenda here. Just to keep you posted on finance and audit, we don't need a motion on this one. We canceled the bookkeeper proposal. We put an RFP on the street. We sent it out to 6 people, 4 came back. Our existing bookkeeper did not submit back. So there were 4 new proposals. We were happy with all 4. We were going to make a recommendation decision. The recommendation now is to cancel that RFP. We don't need a motion here. We did that in finance and audit. I just want to let you guys know. So we're not going forward with a bookkeeper in 2021. And we're going to go and ask Mohammed to continue on until the books are closed. So there's a little expense there, likely a month or 2.
Yeah.
And we have the funds for that. Outside of that, that's all the motions. Am I missing anything, Angela? We've got everything we need?
Yeah.
Great. I need a motion to move in camera for 2 items. Michael?
Motion for the Oshawa Downtown Business Improvement Area Board of Directors to go into in-camera session pursuant to section 239 subsection 2 of the Municipal Act to discuss matters relating to a local board employee and or members.
Do I have a seconder? Glenn? All in favor? Isaac?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yeah.
Cindy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Okay, we're in camera. Angela, thank you. Sorry, she's going to stop the recording. I'll let you know when she steps out. Does anyone need a bio break before we do this or no? No, not hearing any. We'll carry on.
Okay, for recording again.
Okay, we're Michael. Do you want to bring us home?
Motion for the board to rise from in-camera session.
Seconder?
Yeah.
Glenn? All in favor? Isaac?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Carried. Michael, do you want to approve the discussions?
Motion to approve the discussion as held in camera.
Seconder?
Yes.
Glenn? All in favor? Isaac?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Jeanette?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Carried.
Sorry, I didn't catch who seconded the motion.
Glenn.
Glenn, okay, thank you.
Any new business?
Just to say that we should probably, anyone that's chairing a committee should be writing a letter to their committee and all the volunteers on there to let them know we're no longer a board, in case anyone doesn't know it's on our committees.
Yeah, that's a great comment there, Michael. We should probably do a thank you and let them know what's happened. The committee chairs. I mean, Angela, if you want to draft those for the committee chairs, and then you guys can sign and send them off, that'll be fantastic. It's a nice thank you for
Yeah, good idea. Good idea, Michael.
Thanks.
Great. Anything else on new business? We have Taylor's lunch today, right?
Yes, at noon.
At noon?
Yeah.
In case anybody wants to drop by, say thanks to Taylor. This is her last day.
I think she'll be in on Thursday.
Thursday, she's got one more day on Thursday. And that'll be great. Anything else on new business? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Michael, seconder?
Me.
Any regrets on that motion? I'm not gonna go around the table. Seems like it's gonna carry. Everybody's good? Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, folks. I really appreciate it for all you've done and for all the special meetings we've had, at least in the last half of the year, and for the ride. It's been interesting, fun sometimes, and
Disappointing sometimes.
yeah, but it's all good. When
It's
you're
all
doing it with people you like, it's always something that you say that it's a learning experience. So thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.